Stirring the coffee with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee. At the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, percolator coffee in a It's Good to Be a Man coffee mug. Perfect. Perfect. Cream and a touch of honey. Yeah. Who would have thought that would be the downfall of a country? I guessed it. Let me put it this way. Men are so, to quote my ex-wife, men are so easy. If all it takes is a little bit of, to make a man fall, compromise, sell out his state, sell out his constituents, then there is absolutely no hope. Men, this is why I talk about rejoicing in your wife, period. Build a wall around that. When I get married, because I am open to marriage, one of these days, when I get married, there will be a wall around my marriage. Not so much to keep her from straying. She's got to do that. You can't keep anyone from doing anything they don't want to do. And that conversation will be had way before there's marriage. But I will say this. Mike Pence wasn't far off when he said he will not be in a room alone with a woman if it's not his wife. I know pastors that counsel female parishioners that will only do so when the door of their office is open and the secretary is right there. There's wisdom in that. Mike Pence won't even be in a room alone with a woman, door open or closed. People made fun of him for that. Interesting, right? I don't think that's a bad rule that you have for yourself. Now, if your wife is of the same persuasion and conviction, you could do okay. That is a two-way street, though. Protecting the marriage has to be done by both people. Because right now, how many politicians have fallen to Chinese communist people? Females. How many? Interesting, right? I'm a strong man. I'm a Republican. And the first that walks by, you sell everyone out. That's also called treason, which is why I think firing squads should be brought back, public firing squads. I'm such a meanie, aren't I? Yeah. Papa, why you so salty? Why do you bring me down? I said, Papa, why you so salty? Why do you bring me down? There's no complaint when my other man comes around. Dinah Washington, 1944. All day long when I'm at the other job, I listen to the Billie Holiday Pandora channel. That's all I listen to. All day long. Billie Holiday. The people that work with me are like, what is with this initially? And then after a while, some people say, you know what? What's the name of that channel again? And then they love it. The Billie Holiday, and Billie is spelled B-I-L-L-I-E. Billie Holiday Pandora channel. Try it for a few days. Just nonstop. Don't just try it for a couple songs. Just try it. And then get back to me and tell me what you think. You're going to get hooked. The Transformed Wife on Twitter says, anyone who wants to test drive someone before marriage is a fool. Many women willingly give sex before marriage, but once married, they have little to no desire to be sexually intimate with their husbands. It's a horrible test for a future spouse. Man, you got to have that conversation. You have to have that conversation. I know so many dead marriage beds. I know so many men, Christian men, who are sleeping in the spare bedroom, sleeping on the couch. Their wife won't let them enter her. One guy said to me, it's because I snore. I'm like, what's snoring got to do with having sex with your wife? How about just having sex during the day? You want to sleep in another room? Go for it. Then have sex during the day. You haven't had sex with your wife in 5 years? You haven't had sex in 5 years. That doesn't mean she hasn't had sex in 5 years, dude. And the last time you had sex was by yourself because of the porn you're watching. But you blamed it on your wife, didn't you? And the plank sticking out of their eye, criticizing the speck, the toothpick in someone else's eye, and they got a beam sticking out of their eye. She says, you got me a Peloton bike for Christmas? Yeah, honey, but wait, you think I'm fat? You know that conversation happened somewhere and will be happening at the end of this month. Men, if she doesn't ask for the Peloton bike or hint around, don't get her exercise equipment. I mean, you might as well get her like clothing that's 2 sizes smaller and tell her, well, if you want to fit in it, then lose some weight. Do not get your wife exercise equipment unless she asks for it. The heck's the matter with you? When you feel cold, I'll warm you. When you feel you can't go on, I'll come and hold you. It's you and me forever. Sarah Smile from Hall & Oates, 1975. Great song. Very smooth, fun, bluesy, right? But I will admit, a lot of that music does program guys to be weak. And it's hard to listen to my old music from the 70s. Holy cow. What are some other songs where men just can't imagine themselves being with anyone else? Now we have a whole generation of divorced men who grew up thinking that everything is permanent, everything is forever. Now they're all bitter. Some of them are on their 3rd marriages. One guy said, I know one guy that said, I just keep doing it till I get it right. That's the definition of insanity. Anyone remember the punk rock or new wave band called Napalm Sunday? Anyone remember that? I remember I used to cut that guy's hair many years ago. I think he sells insurance now. I'm dead serious. When he told me, he says, yeah, I used to have a band. I'm like, oh, what was your band? And he said, Napalm Sunday. I'm like, get the heck out of here. And I did some, clicking around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to love their music. Interesting, right? Who do you know that is like working like a regular job that used to be in a band? I'll never forget the first time I heard Play That Funky Music on a smooth jazz channel. Like, how can that song, remember the group Wild Cherry, how can that song be like smooth jazz? I don't get it. So now, what's the guy's name? Is it Rob Parisi? Who was the voice and kind of like the lead of the band Wild Cherry. He's now doing like smooth jazz, the last time I heard. I thought that was interesting. I don't know any other songs that band did. Like, obviously they put out an album, I'm assuming, because I only know one song. Do you know any other one-hit wonders that just disappeared? Like, was it VH1 many years ago did a thing like, Where Are They Now? I've always enjoyed those kind of things. I love that meme that went around the internet about 10 years ago. I tried starting a gang once and it turned into a book club. That always made me laugh. That pops up in my feed every now and then. Success has 2 teachers, the joy of winning and the pain of losing. Both are incredible motivators. I can attest to that. I've done a lot of winning and I've done a lot of losing in my life. And boy, do they push you, don't they? Which leads me to give you a Jim Rohn quote, one of my favorite guys. Life is about taking risks. It was risky from the minute you were born. If you think taking risks is too scary, wait till life gives you the bill for not taking risks. Whew. I come from a family where people take no risks. Everything was get a job, work it till you die, work it till you retire, and then die a few years later. Not a lot of risks. Not a lot of risks going on. I'll never forget, Geraldo had a show I'm talking, this was 30 years ago, and he had a bunch of entrepreneurs sitting in a semicircle on stools, and it was about being a self-made millionaire. And he went around and said, it was like one last question, what's the one thing that you can attribute your success to? And he just passed the microphone around. And each person said, risk, 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 risk. Risk means moving without guarantees in place. You're not afraid of losing. People who don't risk are afraid of losing. Ask any successful person. They will tell you they lost a heck of a lot more before they won. In 2009, I uploaded several ebooks to Amazon that are still selling today, believe it or not. One of them is called It Smelled Like 6 O'Clock. And in there I have an essay called Masculinity Disappeared with the Pipe. Yes, the smoking pipe. Whatever happened to the pipe? You know, the smoking pipe. The pipe was the ultimate manly accessory. The pipe was different. It was a guy thing. Pipes demand respect. Kids didn't steal their dad's pipes, they stole their cigarettes. Cigarettes got the rep of being the icon of rebellion and counterculture. Pipes had a totally different reputation. If you had a pipe, you were intellectual, you were a thinker, you were not impulsive. It's almost as if, when asked a question, that you consulted your pipe. It helped you bluff for a minute while you came up with an answer. On top of that, it helped you illustrate your answer. I like to say the pipe was the original laser pointer. I had a professor that smoked a pipe. When I went to Albany State, he'd write stuff on the blackboard, back when there was blackboards. I don't even know if they exist anymore. And then he would point to like different things, different sentences and things that he wrote. He'd point with his pipe. The coolest thing about the pipe was that it didn't even have to be filled with tobacco or even be lit to be cool. Just having a pipe in your hand while you were talking automatically increased your IQ about 25 points, or at least it seemed so. If you had a pipe and a beard, you were infallible. It was the ultimate combo. I remember I had a friend in high school, Tony Viana. He said, when I get older, I want to have a beard and smoke a pipe. We were probably like in 9th or 10th grade. That was like his goal in life. I want to have a beard and smoke a pipe. And then he would always do this gesture thing. Like, let me find like here's a pen. I don't have a pipe with, he'd be like this. And he would do this like little 3-second act of like that. I want to have a beard and smoke a pipe. I'll never forget that. I don't know where he got that from, but that was pretty funny. And there were times where I would look over at him on the other side of the classroom and he'd be looking at me like the teacher is writing something on the blackboard. He'd look over at me and go, I have to find out where he's at today. See if he has a beard and smokes a pipe. No, wait, a beard, a pipe, and a tweed sport coat. You couldn't hurry a pipe. Nobody ran out for a quick smoke with a pipe. You did that with a cigarette. If you didn't have 20 minutes to commit, you don't go out. Pipes made men slow down a little, think, ponder about life, work, wives, children, the state of the world. Pipes were cool. It was the only accessory that had its own accessories. You had your pipe tool, a very masculine folding thing that was a combination of a tamper and a pipe hole cleaner, a little spoon and a pick. It's the intellectual man's version of a jackknife, although most pipe smokers do have pocket knives. If you had a pocket knife and a pipe tool, you were the master. You had your supply of pipe cleaners, now mostly sold in Michael's crafts centers for Sunday school crafts. I don't think you can call them pipe cleaners anymore because that refers to tobacco. I did see that. It was like in some art supply store. And they weren't called pipe cleaners because you could do stuff. You could make crafts and do things with pipe cleaners in art class. They don't call them pipe. I think they call them like bendable fuzzy wires or something stupid. You had special lighters. You had to have cherry or you weren't a real pipe guy. You gotta have cherry tobacco. Pipes are bridge builders. Nobody avoids you because you smoke a pipe, not like cigars or cigarettes. That is true. I'd be on the sidewalk in Chestnut Hill smoking a cigar, and some of the guys would like it. Other people would do like this fake cough thing as they walk by you. Like that. You're smoking a pipe, and people actually slow down, and strangers will come up to you and say, "Ooh, that smells good. That reminds me of my father, my grandfather." Pipes are bridge builders. You don't even have to inhale it to enjoy it. Most pipe smokers don't inhale. So what's not to like? You can just pick up a pipe and smoke it. Or you can't just pick up a pipe and smoke it like a cigar. You can't just pick up a pipe and smoke it like a cigar or a cigarette. There's a learning curve. You actually have to learn how to do it. And it's best when taught by an experienced pipe guy. Many people hate the smell of cigars and cigarettes, but even the most militant anti-smoking people in the world like the smell of a pipe. Women like the smell of a pipe, and they always tell you that. And I think it reminded them of someone in their youth that treated them nicely. It could be a father, an uncle, a grandfather, store clerk. Pipes make you a better dad. You talk to your kids easier when you have a pipe in your hand. Doesn't even have to be lit. And they always hug you and say, "That was swell, Dad." When people think of their fathers, they always remember his pipe. Pipes were unique and they were accepted in society. Even some famous theologians and ministers smoked pipes. For some reason, it didn't seem as evil as cigarettes, the demon weed. I never wanted to hang out with people who smoked cigarettes. Never. If you hung out with a pipe smoker, you became vicariously smarter. The coolness and smartness rubbed off on anyone within 10 feet of a pipe smoker. Men even had portraits taken with pipes, a pipe in their mouth, holding a pipe. Pipes were work. They had to be filled, tamped, coaxed to light, nurtured, cleaned, rotated on a regular basis. In Hollywood, a pipe was a prop that made any man on film seem smarter. Sherlock Holmes had a pipe. Santa Claus has a pipe. Native Americans had pipes. Pipes were associated with peace. Men talking about peace. You went to your enemy and he offered you a smoke on the pipe, and everything was okay. Charles Spurgeon had a pipe. Hobbits smoked pipes. General MacArthur loved his pipe. It made him a great general, actually. Popeye has a pipe, and I want to let you in on something. It was the pipe, not the spinach. Einstein loved his pipe. Bing Crosby and his pipe were inseparable. Fred McMurray, the ultimate dad, had a pipe. Do you see any trends here? Pipes and cool hats go hand in hand too. Military hats, fedoras, detective hats, tweed caps. You can't just wear a baseball cap backwards and smoke a pipe. If world leaders smoked pipes, the world might be very well a different place. We love old pictures of men with beards and pipes. Better yet, old pictures of old men smoking pipes. Finish your coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, reason, and pipes.